Good morning, everyone. Once again, this is Black Forest coming to you with another market analysis video. We're going to be breaking down this chart and breaking down this currency pair. But before we get to doing that, we're going to have to state that this video is for educational purposes only. This is not financial advice, but we all know why you guys are here. You guys are here to find good, credible Forex content that can help improve your ability as a trader and to help put a little bit of extra money in your pocket, especially in these troubling times. Okay, so before we get started to break down this chart in this Great British Pound USD, please keep in mind that we do the hard work here for you, so you guys do not have to stress about doing it. All you have to do is just watch our content and apply it as you see fit. Okay. Now, with all that said, now let's break down these USD and Great British Pound. Now, before we get to break down what's happening on the chart, let us discuss what is happening between the British Pound and the USD, respectively. Okay. So during the London session last night around 2 a.m. Eastern Time, we did where we at? We did get a lot of British news come out. We got some positive, we got some negative, more positive than negative. So it's almost like in that lukewarm state where it's not exactly strong, it's not exactly weak. But one thing that is going to make it weak overall is the geopolitics that is surrounding what is happening on the European continent's economy. Now, even though some years ago the UK left the EU through Brexit, the EU is still one of its closest trading partners, and the EU is being devastated by the sanctions being placed on Russia and Russian goods and Russian oil. Okay, so with its closest trading partner being weak and ever-growing inflation in the UK, no matter what the news that comes out about it, it's not going to have an overall good trajectory, and it's still going to have the lingering weakness until we start to get some stabilization in the European continent's economy, from either a ceasefire or halt in hostilities between Russia and Ukraine, and we start to see the UK take a more active role in combating inflation. Okay, so we're going to still see an overall weakening of the British pound going into this trading week with peaks of times of temporary strength. Okay. Now with the USD, prior to making this video, we did get some news come out about the CPI concerning the USD, and the way the numbers projected about the CPI is kind of looking like inflation is stagnating, it's reaching its peak before it starts to tumble over and starts to overall start shrinking up. So these numbers are what a lot of the economists expected to be, and the overall major impact CPI news came out actually much smaller than what it was previously and much smaller than what it was forecast. Okay, so this means that inflation is peaking out, stagnating out, and is actually about to start shrinking, going into these next several trading weeks, as long as the current fundamentals still hold. This means that the US dollar is going to continue to get stronger, and this means that the interventions that the feds and the American government is doing to try to combat inflation is actually working. Okay, so we're going to continue to see a strengthening of the US dollar with periods of weakness from time to time, but we're going to see a strengthening of the US dollar as we get into this going into the mid part of this trading week. Also keep in mind this trading week is going to be cut short due to Good Friday, so we're really not going to see a ramification of what's happening with all these economic numbers until we get into a full trading week, which is the next week to come. Okay. So with that being said, let's go ahead and break down what's happening on the chart now. Okay. So as we can see, we were in a range in which this was the upper part of our range, this was the bottom part of our range, this was the lower extreme of the range, and this is the higher extreme of the range. And as the British pound news came out week, we have been having a drop in the range as we've seen a pickup in the USD strength as well. So now what you're seeing is some aggressive retracement, which was bound to happen. Okay, so how far could price retrace? We can get as high as here, or even here, or even here. before we start to range out and start to go back towards the short side. Okay, so let's gauge this retracement one more time. We can get as high as here before we range out and drop. We can get as high as here before we range out and drop, and we can get as high as here and before we range out and drop. Okay, because the Great British Pound is one of the major three European continents currencies, and the strongest of those three currencies is the CHF. And the British Pound does, and the UK does have lingering inflation hanging over it. So until we start to see changes in geopolitics in Europe, that's going to take away the FUD surrounding the entire European continent's economy, which is the fear, uncertainty, and doubt. Okay, we're going to see a continuation of the weakening of the British pound and the euro respectively. Okay, and this is basically retracement. So all this is allowing you to do is once this retracement dies out and be able to get at a better price of sales, because you actually make more money selling from here than you would selling from here. That's just kind of economics 101. Okay, so once again, we could get up to here before we range out to go down. We could get up to here before we range out to go down, or we could get as high as here before we range it to go down. We want to see it get up to this area here before we range it, and it continues to go towards the short side. Hope that information was helpful for you guys. Happy trading.